so we can get started. We do have now, having said that about the food, we do have something a little different. You may want to rethink whether you're eating, because today, for the first time at Colloquium, we have this little device here is a 360-degree camera. So we're going to capture that whatever it is you're eating. So just wanted you to know that ahead of time. Thanks for coming to Colloquium. As you know, this is an informal opportunity for us to bring new speakers on board at Singularity University. Your feedback is really important to us. There are feedback forms for you in the calendar invitation. If you'd prefer to fill that feedback out via hard copy, those are circulating around the room. Lisa can bring those to you, and we'd ask that you fill them out before the end of the day. It's really important to us, again, to know your opinion, your thoughts on people coming through. So please do make that part of your day today. We'd really appreciate that. The format is a 20-minute talk by each of our two speakers, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A, and then the break in between so you can fill that second plate of food or whatever you need to do. We'll take about a 5-minute break in between our two speakers today. So, first up on the docket, we have Liesl Capper. Liesl grew up in Zimbabwe, lived in Australia and Europe and various locations in the US as well. She currently resides here in the San Francisco Bay Area. She's got some fascinating stories about what it's like growing up in Civil War area time in Zimbabwe, but we will hold those for our next visit. As a child, Liesl gravitated more toward time in the library than time outdoors, and that's where she discovered Isaac Asimov. There's a theme among all of our robotics folks. Neil Stephenson, George Lucas, and others who really sparked her early curiosity in AI and in robotics. She is something of a serial entrepreneur, having started and sold a number of different businesses. I'll tell you about the most recent one. The others you can look up from her bio, which you have access to. So most recently, Liesl was the co-inventor, also fundraiser and strategy and growth person behind an organization called Cognia, which was sold to IBM Watson and is now part of their front-end infrastructure. Again, that's just one of her professional accolades. You can find more easily enough. From a social perspective, even while spending many hours in the library as a child, growing up in Zimbabwe sparked a deep passion for environmental impact, and especially as it relates to the burden of overpopulation. So this is something that Liesl has a great interest in. Also in behavioral change and how AI can be a part of that. For fun, Liesl likes to do giant paintings, and she studied art at some point in college, as well as doing her technical studies. The title of her talk is Asimov Didn't Invent a Robot. So please welcome Liesl Capper.
I was asked to come up with a talk title and just came, because at the same time I was giving Judy some of these stories, and that story about spending time in the library was where I fell in love with Asimov. But now that I've been in robotics for a while, I'm questioning the sort of role we give to his rules. So I was very, very fortunate in that I was a total social outcast in my teens. I had this wonderful orthodontist who was a heartless person, and he actually, those bracelets with the elastic bands at the ears and the headgear, he made me wear that to school for 2 years. So nobody talked to me. I was just metal mouth, and I hung out with the computer geeks and read like crazy, and that's where I first fell in love with AI. And about 8 years ago, I pretty much sold everything I had in the world and put every cent into this artificial intelligence company that I was CEO of. Now, the interesting thing, when I thought about doing this talk today, is that I actually got to be on the grunty end of actually deploying real robotic systems. So my company actually built a platform that allowed you to create an interactive AI and put it anywhere. So you could put in a little walking, talking robot as a sort of decision-making engine. I don't have a lot of slides, so we're not going to look there much. You could put it in, we did some for giant enterprises, so we had them as phone applications, customer support apps. We could build a Siri in 6 weeks, basically. Our fastest deployment was 12 hours flat, which I'm going to talk to you about later. And we did about 60 million interactions, and we had about 30,000 developers. So I got to see scalable interactions of cognitive systems across multiple environments. Now, what I really wanted to question today, because this is a very interesting and unique audience, I really wanted to look at the impact of AI in society. And I'm not going to tell you any of the conclusions that I reached. The one clue, though, is they're a little bit different to Asimov's laws of robotics. I'm going to just tell you some case studies, tell you the data we observed, and then I'm going to try and give as much question time as we can, because I'd love to hear what you conclude. So the first story I'm going to tell you is about a bank deployment of all things. So we'd run out of research grant funding, so we had to sell some stuff, you know. And this bank wanted a customer support robot. And we went live. And we were really fortunate because they had human chat before they had our AI chat. And we were getting double the interaction there. And I thought, oh my gosh, our system must really suck, because people are probably asking over and over again and not, you know, that was not the case. We were getting about 94% accuracy, and humans were doing 66. And at the same time, we had a bunch of other deployments happening. So we actually built a couple of characters for Australia's biggest media company. We built a date psychologist, we built the perfect boyfriend, and we built the girl next door called Sandy. And their job was purely about companionship and engagement. And we were noticing the audience data was staggering. We went from, in these environments that they were deployed, they were getting about 1.5 clicks before we came along, before people went away. We were doing average session times of 20 minutes. About 8% of people were speaking an hour or longer. And about 5 to 8% of people were getting into significant relationship formation. We're talking 10 to 20 hours a week or more. Okay. In the banking domain, completely different. We were watching people buy double the amount of credit cards if they talk to one of these systems as to a human. What is this? So the first place we examined was banking, because we had data. And we were trying to study what happened in human-to-human chat and human-to-AI chat. So one of the most interesting things we first noticed is that when the people were talking to a human, they were saying things like, don't sell me anything. Okay? Or they were saying, I'm so sorry to take up your time. Or they were saying, I'm feeling a bit stupid asking this question. And they didn't get that with the AI system. So what we're doing in modern society is we're forcing people into hundreds and hundreds of interactions that we're just not hardwired to have. We're built to, you know, at every level to be in a tribe where we have maybe a dozen human beings that we interact with regularly, maybe 30, you know. And then beyond 300, it's a blur. Kind of like Facebook. You know, there's about a dozen people you hang out with a lot, maybe 30 that you can sort of know who they are and what's going on. And outside of 300, your profiles just go blurry.